What's the matter, Sydney? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about who killed who in Scream 5. Was it Richie, or was it Amber, or who knows, maybe Stu? Let's get right into it. First up, we got the iconic opening scene, the attack on Tara. I'm going to go ahead and say that the caller here is Richie, and the ghost face we see is Amber. The reason the caller is Richie is because when they're talking about scary movies, and then he asks her, what's your favorite scary movie? And she says The Babadook. She then says, oh, well, it's elevated horror. And the killer doesn't know what elevated horror is. He's like, wait, what's that, elevated horror? And then she explains it to him. But if you recall, fast forward a little bit to where everyone is in Mindy and Chad's living room when Mindy's giving her a whole requel speech, all that, she brings up elevated horror, and then Amber cuts in and is like, well, what's wrong with elevated horror? Jordan Peele rules. So Amber knows what elevated horror is, but the killer in the beginning didn't. Now, you could argue, well, that was you just putting on an act, he's just asking questions to make the process go along, but I don't think that's the case. I think that was actually Richie genuinely curious what elevated horror is, because Richie has this kind of boomer mentality and attitude, because he even addresses Amber's party, like all the kids. He's like, hello, Gen Z. So it would make sense for Richie to ask this question. Now, the ghost face we see is Amber because it just can't be Richie. Because when Richie and Sam were at Dewey's house, he says, I was with Sam in Modesto when Tara was attacked. So, and Sam gives like an affirming nod and says yes. So Sam confirms that Richie was with her that night. Richie could not have been in Woodsboro. But he could have still made the calls for the evidence that I just said. So the ghost face is Amber, and you can also see some patterns in Amber's killings. She's usually more violent and like stabby, while Ghostface is more of a Ghostface. While Richie is more of like a one and done type of guy. But the caller right before Ghostface emerges from the shadows and then grabs Tara, that caller is Amber. And the reason for that is because I noticed this the first time I watched it. Ghostface starts to whisper. And he's like, bonus question. Because she's inside the house. So that was actually Amber on the phone. Now, next up, we got Vince's death. The ever so short screen time of Vince. I believe this is Amber. You could make an argument for Richie, but I'm pretty sure this was Amber for a couple of reasons. The first one is whenever, like in the opening scene or after the opening scene, when everybody's sitting at the picnic table outside of school, Liv mentions that there's Vince, that creep. He worked with me and Tara last summer or something like that. And then Amber shows interest and she's like, oh wait, he worked with Tara? So I think Vince was kind of like I don't think Richie and Amber planned to kill him necessarily. I think he was just kind of a last minute type of thing. I mean, you could make an argument, oh, well, he was Stu Macher's, whatever. I don't know. I didn't like how they handled that. I thought that was kind of stupid. But I think Vince was kind of not like too important to kill off. But if anyone were to do it, it would be easier for Amber, because I mean, like, Amber would have had to like text Richie and been like, "Yo, Vince is over here. Come down here and kill him quick, and then go back to the hospital." It just doesn't make sense. So it would be easier for Amber just to take him out. Then next, the hospital attack on Sam. The ghost face, I believe, is Richie. But the caller, I believe, is Amber. Now, the reason I think the caller is Amber is because he says, your sister's not the only one I'm going to hurt. And a lot of people notice this too, that later on when she in the hospital, like right before Dewey's death, she says, Amber says in Ghostface costume, I'll make sure to hit all the organs I missed last time. So here again, she says, she's not the only one I'm gonna hurt, because it seems like Amber is really boastful about like her kills, like whether that be Dewey, because he was obviously a legacy character, here being Tara, and she hates Sam too. So I believe the caller here is Amber. And then also when Ghostface pops out from behind the door, he's not holding a phone. So that further confirms that Ghostface we see was not the one that was talking to Sam. They kind of pulled like a Billy and Stu from the original, like the Sydney attack scene, where Stu was chilling in the closet all day waiting for his cue to come out, and while Billy was on the phone. So it was kind of similar to that. So Amber, later on, it's said that Judy said, "Oh well, I was questioning Amber and her friends down at the sheriff's station." So that further confirms that this Ghostface was not Amber. And in a deleted scene where Dewey and Judy talk, with the opening of that scene, it shows Mindy and Amber sitting down in a chair in the sheriff's office. So that Ghostface we see is Richie, but the caller is Amber. And then next we got Judy Hicks and Wes Hicks, their deaths. This one could be either or. First up, we have Judy. Now, the caller, like, to make Judy go back to the house, it could be, there's no really evidence to prove it's Amber or Richie. I mean, you could say, because he said, or the killer said, "Oh, I'll tell you all about the people I've killed." And then she's like, "You've only killed one person." So, the only person that died was Vince. And like I said, that was probably Amber. So again, Amber is boasting about her kills again. So I'll say the caller's Amber. I mean, you could make an argument for both. And the killer, like Amber, if this is Amber on the phone, she says, "You ever see the movie Psycho?" And then if you fast forward to the finale, when she's looking at Sydney, she does like that, like the screech where she's like, like the Psycho like type beat. There's a video of on YouTube of that. I don't know if that was like a Psycho reference. It sounded like it was, and the person who posted the video obviously thought it was. So whatever, we'll throw that on for evidence. So the caller, I'll say, is Amber, and she's just sitting outside on the porch. Now, when Judy runs up to the porch and gets stabbed, that Ghostface is also Amber. The reason for that, and this actually ties to Tara's attack, these two killings, or Tara wasn't killed, are very similar. There's a stab, and then Judy falls to the ground. Amber was shoved to the ground, or not Amber, sorry, Tara was shoved to the ground. And I noticed nobody else talked about this. The Ghostface does like this blade twirl. Like, he holds up his right hand, and then he moves the blade from, like, holding it with the blade facing the top, and then he, like, maneuvers his fingers and makes it face the bottom. These two scenes are very similar in that aspect. So these Ghostface in Tara's attack and Judy's death are the same. Because they do. They raise the knife up in the air, twirl it down, and then just stalk their prey. And just slowly walk towards them. And also, they both grab their victim's leg and then drag them towards them. Amber did that with Tara, and she's doing it with Judy. And also, Amber is really, like, violent, like, really stabby. And also, if you recall, like, when Amber stabs at Judy, but Judy catches her arm, and then she lifts her other arm and then slaps it down to, like, actually stab her. She also does that attacking Dewey. Like, she tries to stab him with one arm, and then she brings up the other, but Dewey manages to still resist. So that further points that Amber was the Ghostface in Judy's death. But now we move to Wes. Now, I think the Ghostface we see that kills Wes is Richie. Now, the reason for that is because he did like this. The way he held the knife as he was trying to, like, stab Wes's neck was very similar to the attack on Mindy later, which I also believe, or it's pretty much confirmed that it's Richie. Like, he, like, holds his arms, like, horizontally, and then, like, pushes it towards his victim. So those are, the Mindy attack and the Wes kill are very similar. So I think that was Richie, because I'm assuming, if I'm using, like, their mindset, their plan was to, like, this is a distraction, which is also in a deleted scene where Sam walks up to Mindy at the crime scene and is like, "Why are you here? I thought you said the killer doesn't care about the sequels." And then she's like, "Oh wait, well maybe it's just a distraction while the main thing's going down at the hospital." So I think in their minds, they were like, well, I don't know if Judy called the police or not. Like, I mean, she's a sheriff, so I'm assuming she called backup. So I think Amber, once she killed Judy, she just got to the hospital. I don't know if Amber has a car. I'm assuming she does, because Richie was left alone at Mindy's house, so he would have had to gotten a ride unless he just got an Uber. But we'll say whatever. Amber just got to the hospital right after she killed Judy, and then Richie stayed behind and then finished Wes off. Further evidence that was Richie is because a couple scenes later, when Sam calls Richie and says, "Hey, the killer just killed 2 more people. Get to the hospital, whatever." He's seen eating pizza watching YouTube. Now, I mean, this is kind of a funny detail, but only 1 slice is missing. Like, he's currently eating the 1 slice that he just, so the pizza was probably fresh, like he just got it. So I think it was kind of like a celebratory thing, like, yeah, I just killed Wes, now I'm just ordered some pizza and watched some stab videos, so I think it was kind of a celebratory thing. And the fact that the pizza was, like, it looks like he just got it, so it would kind of match up with the timing of that. Now, moving on to the hospital scene, we don't see the cop's death. It's off screen. We just hear it. We hear him get knocked off his chair, and then hear his throat get slit. So it could be Amber, or it could be Richie. I don't know. It's up to you guys. I'll say it's Richie. Whatever. Matches up with him getting there, then checking on Amber, making sure she's ready to set to pop out, whatever, and then he went into Tara's room. And then we got Amber that kills Dewey, because Richie is obviously knocked out on the floor, which is all part of their plan. And the way Amber attacks Dewey is also similar to Judy Hicks, because like I said, she presses down with a knife with one hand, then she lifts up the other and then slaps it down, but then Dewey actually catches it instead of what Judy did. So, and that's also why the Ghostface has having trouble overpowering Dewey, and almost died if she didn't wear that bulletproof vest. And then next, at the party at Amber's house, aka Stu Macher's house, we got the attack on Chad. Chad, again, survives, like Tara. This is obviously Amber, because Richie was in the car driving to the house currently. And again, looking at the kill style, Amber is really vicious. Like, she's all stabby, slicey. So yeah, that just further cements the fact that she killed Judy and she attacked Tara, because she was very vicious with her kills. And then next we have the attack on Mindy. This was, I'm pretty much confirmed that it's Richie, because Amber was with Tara the whole time, so there's no way she would have been able to, get free for a little bit and then come back. And Richie said, "Oh yeah, I'll be right back," and going to get some beer. So yeah, the attack on Mindy was Richie, and also cementing that too. Again, like I mentioned earlier, how he tries to stab her in the face. Like if you look at the 2 photos, they're both the Ghostface is the same, because he's trying to kill his victim in the same way. So yeah, that was Richie. And then next we've got the phone call to Sydney. That was Richie. It was obviously Richie, because he pulls out the voice changer right after that when he's talking to Sam, and he's like, "Oh, really was the best choice for the movie." So he was in possession of the voice changer at that time. I mean, they may have had a couple, but pretty much that is Richie. And he also says in the conversation, "No, I'm the other one." Then obviously the ghost face that pops out there from the closet is Amber, which she then unmasks herself, and yeah. And before you say it, no, I didn't forget about Liv. I just didn't feel like mentioning it, which, I mean, I am now, so it kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah, Amber obviously shot Liv in the head, and yeah, boom.
I know.
Dead. And yeah, that's my Who Killed Who for Scream 5. It was a little more difficult to judge who did it in this movie compared to, especially the first one. But I feel like my list is pretty accurate. You could argue maybe who called who. I might be wrong in some of those. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm actually curious to see what details you noticed. Thank you for watching, and I'll